Spiritual sex and candy, yeah.
Hello, gorgeous beings, and welcome to Spiritual Sex and Candy. I am Heather, your Shamanic Sweetener, and we have my amazing co-host Jeff, our Freedom Jedi.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome. And of course, Rupert, JP's little doggy, who has to be heard as well. It is episode 7, you guys. Welcome and thanks for coming and hanging out. We are talking about orgasms and awakening your inner sensuality through spiritual practice.
Yes.
That's right.
I am excited. About this one.
It's funny. I'm super excited about next week's. I actually even said to Jeff yesterday ago, is it too late to change it?
I was laughing. I'm like, I can. It's up to you. But how strongly do you feel about that?
I mean, I'm kind of strong about it, but that's okay.
It's okay. You know how this goes.
Right. You never know what's going to come up.
Right.
You never know what's going to come up.
Oh
my goodness. Oh, so disclaimer. Should we do a disclaimer really quick?
Yeah,
and then I'll check in with you. Yeah. Of course, our disclaimer, this is an adult-only show, 18 and older. Please don't listen to us while your small children are around. We do talk about sex, drugs, rock and roll, and all the nasty things in between. So this is your warning if you didn't get the hint by the name of the show. Yeah. It's time to move on if you're with your small children or you're not comfortable with any of those things, because we're going to talk about it all.
Definitely. And
it's like our favorite thing to do, actually. Hi, Jeff.
Hi.
How are you today?
I am fantastic. I have a date tonight.
You have a date?
I do. I'm going to meet up with Kevin tonight. My friend Kevin. We've talked about him frequently.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Yay.
So yeah, we're gonna hang out tonight. Probably do karaoke as always. I'm debating whether or not I'm going to hit a different karaoke tonight.
Yeah.
Than my usual. He lives closer to another one. So on the other side of town. So I'm thinking maybe I'll go to the other side of town. But kind of going back and forth around it. You never know.
Okay. A date's a date. Good times.
It is good times, and
anytime you get to sing, you're happy. Like
exactly.
even if you were going out with someone new, if you could get up and sing for a little while, it's still a good night.
It's good. Exactly. Well, it's for me. It gives me something to do. It breaks the ice, so I don't have to
entertain the whole time.
Right, and I can sing, and I am decent enough. I won't say that I'm good, but I'm decent enough that I'm good. Just things that you know about yourself. I can sing. So especially if I have to, and I'm trying
not too bad at it myself. I used to be like. In high school, I was really, really good, and it's probably one of those things that I could have maybe pursued. I don't know. I mean, I live in Vegas; anything could happen, right?
Right.
But life happens, and singing was not realistic. And now, I'm not too bad now. My memory's the worst part.
This is why
I'm thinking about the lyrics. If I'm just singing along, I do great. But it's when I start trying to concentrate that.
Yeah, that's why I have things with a screen.
It gives you all the words.
Gives you all the words, because even things that I knew, I don't know. And
Right.
a lot of times the newer stuff that I've been doing is like, I heard it once, I'm like, oh, that sounds really cool, and I know enough about chord structure that once it gets in there, I'm pretty okay these
Yeah.
days. Everything's pretty much sounds the same and is pretty basic, and if it's not exactly the same as it's something that's out now, it's something that was out in the 70s, 80s when I can, from the country,
rock those.
I can rock those. So whatever, it all works.
Yeah, gotta love that. I don't know, I think I'm gonna go live. I think I'm just gonna go live later tonight, because I didn't go live last night. Mondays are hard for me. I think, like, everyone has that day of the week, and it has not. I mean, I had like a super busy weekend, and so yesterday I was just like, I need to recuperate from all of that. And so yesterday I didn't do much of anything, and so last night there was no energy to actually do that.
I did not have spoons yesterday. I woke up with no spoons, so
yeah,
I was just like, you know what? But I actually did. I realized in this no spoons, I'm not creative and spit out like probably the best podcast title ever in the history of the universe.
Right.
I got I wrote all brand new social media with a whole different theme and a whole different vibe. I did. I wrote this week's message for the Orange Dragonfly Center. And it's locked and loaded already, and so they'll come out on Thursday and at midnight in Universal Standard, I think. Yeah. So
right on.
I'm like, okay, I could do. This is me not doing anything. I literally was on the computer for like an hour and a half all day. Like, I don't want to touch a computer. I did a lot of the social media stuff on my phone.
I did stuff yesterday. I just was not overly productive.
Yeah.
I guess we should get down to our topic today.
Yeah, definitely.
Orgasms and Om, right? Connecting with our spirituality and our sensuality together, right? Because when you start working on your energy and your spirituality, it connects you in a different way. But let's do our first question. So many are raised. This one is mainly for you because this was not my experience, but I know this was your experience, and so I really want to hit on that. Mm-hmm. There's so many people that are raised with the idea that spirituality is separate from sensuality, right? Even something to be repressed. So can you, I really would like to hear your story. Our first podcast was kind of a hot mess. And so I kind of cut you off in the middle of your story, which was not my intention. But no. This is really for you, because I, as a straight white girl, do not, I cannot speak on this subject.
Well, not even that. It's that sex in general, Christianity and sex in general is not a thing that's comfortable, right?
Yeah,
we have these Puritan values that literally didn't really exist, and they're not in the places where they say they are. That's the worst. So, I grew up that you were going to hell if you were masturbating. There was masturbation alone. And trust me, I was doing a lot more than masturbating. So I knew I was going to hell. I just said, okay, where's my handbasket? And went off the deep end. But there was definitely, this stigma and this stuff. And it was and for a moment, I went to a Christian school. in
Yeah.
8th grade. And that was not good. And, my friends were all starting to experiment at that point a little bit. And no, it was a very different, oh my God, you can't do that. And so it was very, very interesting to see the differences.
Yeah, because like you're told, I mean, because you grew up very strict, like you were gonna be a minister, right? Like you were,
yeah. There was
were in line to do all those things, and then they told you, I mean, basically before you even knew you were gay, right? Like that.
Yeah. So that was, I didn't even know I was gay. We got a brand new pastor, so we had this older gentleman, beautiful, loving minister. And did you know that in the 1940s the King James Bible was translated?
Yes, I have heard that.
Yeah, so in the 1940s is when homosexuality came into the whole conversation. It didn't exist before that. So I had a pastor that grew up before that. Like he learned before the 40s. I'm pretty positive he was probably 80 back in the 90s. So, like, really, I mean, I think that he was quite elderly, and we got a brand new pastor, and he was probably my age now, like 40-ish, 35, 40, maybe, somewhere in that range, maybe 30, maybe, I doubt it because the church pastors probably no, but I was, so, whatever. He wasn't old. He was a young pastor, right? So my assumption is, knowing what I know now, he was probably about 35. And he decided to do the hell and brimstone speech. All gays are going to hell. God hates fags. He would have felt a little bit extremely happy there. And this is pre-Will and Grace. Okay, so there's a very different, it's kind of a line in the sand, right? There was before Will and Grace and after Will and Grace, and things changed. Will and Grace changed things.
Yeah.
There's full
Ellen.
Things. And Ellen, somewhat, she really was a groundbreaker. I am not. Will and Grace couldn't have happened without Ellen, but Will and Grace was a change. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
They were, you know what I mean?
Well, because our society, even now, our society accepts gay women more readily than being a gay male, right?
Oh, definitely. It's a definite bias, but I think that's because, let's face it, men can understand why you would want to be with a woman. And most men can't understand that you'd want to be with a man.
Yeah.
We're sick. We're disgusting. I got it. All right. I grew up with the saying.
I don't know. Women are some nasty bitches. I wouldn't. Yeah. I don't know if we.
There are some things that I could say from working in restaurants.
Women are some nasty bitches. Yeah.
In the men's room, yeah, they pee all over. Okay, I got it.
Right.
Women's room, it's not pee.
Right. Yeah. Women are disgusting.
It's other things, and
women.
It's gross.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So yeah, I grew up in that kind of Puritan ideas, although I wasn't living the Puritan ideas. Trust me. So, but having that really shoved down your throat, and having to come to terms later, years later, with what that really meant and how that really came up and why I was like, why do I have to be monogamous? I need to be in a monogamous relationship. That's the only way I can be in, and everything else. If that's the only way you can show you love me.
We're definitely taught that, right?
Right, and that all comes from the heteronormative marriage religion thing, right? Yeah. And we were talking about in our first podcast, we were talking about different religions and how some of those ideas happen and some of the rumors that happen around that. Mormons, especially some Jewish traditions that are very strict when it comes to bedroom behavior. Yes. I'm not even gonna get this one demonetized. Look at that. So, but yeah, it was definitely, it's definitely a challenge. And it's funny because if you go back to the ancients, to before Christianity, sex was a big part of how people worshipped.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Even, I mean, pagan, you name it, there is, even now, sex magic, and I warn everyone, please don't just go dabble in some shit that you don't know what you're doing, because it is very powerful. It can be very beautiful, and it can be very ugly.
Scary. Yeah. If you
and
don't,
of course, don't do anything without anyone's consent. If you plan on, doing adding some extra energy into your sex life, please,
please let them know.
Please let them know. Yeah.
I'll never forget.
I always feel like I have to say a disclaimer because someone out there is going to be like, she was talking about sex, it's super powerful, and it's a sacred, beautiful thing, right?
Yeah, and I was telling somebody, you guys all know that recently I got all my certifications for all the tantric stuff, and I was the first person I was with in the middle of that, like right after my 3 days of like craziness. Like the fourth day is I was with someone, and it was the strangest and most beautiful and odd thing.
Experience.
That's the word I was looking for. Like, I'm sitting here going, like, everything like hit so many of the hidden kinks, some of the fantasies I've always had. And it's because I opened up everything and like wide open, and like it was like, okay. And then he caught the vibe, and like I end up getting a massage. I end up like such a crazy, insane kind of whole evening. And yeah, I actually, funny enough, I saw him the other day.
There you go.
So yeah, I mean,
and you were able to have that experience without it being this committed, monogamous, because we talked about hookups, right? We've talked about hookups before on the show. And that's what we were talking about when we say that there can be an experience and a connection. It's as long as you're going into it with all the right energy of doing so, right? And the communication of, this is what I want. Because people's feelings get hurt when someone's feelings change and they, the other person doesn't know, right?
And the other person doesn't know. And what was really cool about that experience, other than the fact of like it, really dealing with some of the tantric practices in action.
Yeah.
When it comes to sexuality, like really dealing with breath and energy work and the whole thing. He had also done Reiki. So he was already a Reiki master. So like he knew where I was coming from and matched that energy. And so there were moments in that were so absolutely pure and divine that it was amazing. And then there was moments in that was absolutely raunchy and like I can't talk about it even in this podcast.
Right. Which is saying something.
No,
I mean, to be honest, as open as we are and as open as I am about what I've done sexually, it's still personal. Like I never get into gory details, even with my closest friends. I've never been that person to do that, because there has to be, you know, I could say he spanked my ass and tied me to the couch, or, you know, whatever the case may be, but but there has to be part of it that's just ours, of course, you know.
That experience was, like I said, it was space, and
it was all the things.
It was all the things, and the funny thing is that it was still all the things this time, like a whole nother set, a whole nother thing, a whole nother vibe.
Did you go into it this time? Now I get to be nosy and kind of interview a little bit. Did you go into it this time with expectations because of the last time, or did you still go into it with like anything could happen? Because I mean, that's another thing, right? Where you like, have you ever just, because I know I've been with someone where it was like, oh, one time, and then you go back and it was like, oh, okay. And I don't know if there was, because there was an expectation there, or if it just happened to, you know, work out that way. But you know, I mean, that's happened with me before, where I've gone and it's been like, you know, this amazing thing, and then the next time around it's like, I mean, not that it was bad, but it was like, well, that wasn't life changing.
Oh, I've been there. I've definitely, you know, I just realized.
What?
I've not been live.
Mine says I'm live on mine. Are you not live on your end? Stop it.
Okay, so somehow we may have not been live
this whole time. In my corner, it says on my end that we were live on both of my channels. Well, my personal channel, and
I push go live, so it should have worked. And now
now we're live.
We are live. Mm-hmm. Hey, we're live. So if you heard that conversation, I apologize. And if you heard that conversation, I apologize. You know.
Yeah, both of mine say that I am right now. So
okay, cool.
I hope the whole thing recorded, at least on one end.
On one of them, hopefully one of them somewhere. There's a recording of all that just happened, because it was kind of cool.
Which is funny, because I didn't see up in the corner. I almost said something a little bit ago, and then I clicked on mine in the corner and was like, it says you are live, and so I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, because I literally pushed live before I pushed the thing, and
mine just kind of automatically does it on this end.
Yeah. So I apologize if you guys missed any of that. I apologize if you heard all that. I still apologize. It was kind of crazy. What we were talking about was how having an experience, one experience with somebody that was really amazing and really great, and really did hit all the spiritual aspects too.
Right.
And was really a sacred moment. Which the thought of like that is kind of crazy to me still, because of all the things that happened in that moment. But we really did have a really great time. And then, you know, the other night we got back together, and although, and what Heather asked was it the same? And I'm like, no, it really wasn't. It wasn't as connected as it was the first time, and it still ticked way too many boxes.
Good.
It was still really good, but it wasn't as connected. But I'm not as connected. I am not as connected as I was right after.
Yeah, because anytime you go through a big leveling up energetically, it evens back out. Because you, like, for me, when my body levels up, like, it knocks me out. Like, I have to withdraw, turn off social media. I have to just kind of tell Jeff I can't talk to him, and allow myself to do my energy work to level up, and, you know, And when you're on a high like you were of this opening of all this energy and accepting all the energy, because that's really what it was about, was you opening up and accepting all this stuff that you've actually been doing for years. So that's you will find, as you know, when you are going through your healing process and your awakening and whatever you want to call it, that you'll realize that you just start living by a lot of the things that you have been working to do the whole time. Like, I used to post all kinds of positive stuff all the time, and I go back and I look at my memories and Facebook, which sometimes are a blessing and sometimes a curse. You all know this, right? But then I go back and I think, like, I've been working on this for a long ass fucking time. Like,
Yeah.
I've done a lot of fucking work to get where I'm at right now, you know what I mean? And I'm still working on things. So, like, you know, I still have my moments. This is not all, you know, you guys get to see us for an hour once a week, you know, like, I'm not always, I put on a brave face when I come here. Like, this is a mask. I'm just kidding. Sometimes it is. Sometimes, you know, like, I have a chronic illness. You know, so there are days where I can't physically do a whole lot of anything. We talk about spoons, you know. Yeah. So I'm constantly doing energy work and doing different things. But like, you used to do meditations, you used to hold meditations, all of these things that you just like stopped doing and was like, and then you go, well, I don't know what I'm doing. And now you're like, oh, all that stuff that I was doing.
All that stuff I was doing.
I guess it is what I was doing back then.
I joke with Mike is that now I'm doing more of the stuff that I did when I first started coaching. Like, literally, I went back to the beginning and then added some energy stuff that I always did, but maybe some of it I didn't understand to the level I understand it now.
Yeah.
And maybe in some of it I wasn't comfortable talking about, and I'm still not always comfortable. I said the night before, I said Friday night I had the Tantric Odyssey workshop on Saturday morning. I said on Friday night that I'm still like not extremely comfortable going through this.
Yeah.
Like I could do it all day long and I know what I'm doing and I understand that I understand. Right. But actually saying it out loud and some of the stuff, and I still can't pronounce words, and you know, I still, you know, I work with the chakras and lots of energy, and I still cannot say the correct name for the chakras. And part of that is not hearing them enough from someone to say it repetitively enough for me to pronounce it correctly. Because I'm actually very good at stuff like that. Pronouncing patients' names for years, like, helped with that. But so pronunciation wise, once I know it and hear it, but like I have to have someone go, no, roll your R this way, whatever, you know what I mean? Yeah. I have to hear it said correctly, you know. And I've had not an argument, but I had someone tell me that I was saying Reiki wrong. You know, like, people get so very specific about, you know, well, first off, that's not how we say it. And I'm like, oh, never mind. Like, we're not going to talk about this. I appreciate you. And if you're so stuck on a word that's the only thing you can hear. I was joking, actually, in the thing, in the event, I joked about, your root chakra, you know, it's right in the bottom of your taint. Because that's where it is. And someone said that. And as soon as it was said, it was like, yes, that's exactly where it is. And when you're in lotus, your right foot, that's where your right heel should be.
Right.
Now, getting into that spot where that actually works is a challenge for me. And I can do one and not the other. One of them can work, and the other one is not going to.
You know what? I don't do lotus, but I will sit. I like to sit with my feet touching each other. So, and then my hands connected in some way, so that I feel like I'm completing the cycle. Yeah, the energy cycle. It's the same concept of when you raise your hands above your head, like in worship, right? You're creating a funnel for the energy to come down. Mm-hmm. That's what we're going to talk about next week. I'm so excited.
That is awesome. Yeah, so, you know, we really do have that repression, and sexuality can be part of a spiritual practice. It can be victorious.
But you have to allow yourself to be open to what you really want, right? So that's part of connecting with yourself. So like for me, for years, you know, slut shamed, I was told, you know, I had men, I go back and forth about this. I've had several men over the years claim to have been with me that were not with me, which, I mean, I guess that I should be I don't know if I should be honored that they would claim that or offended because they were,
you know what? That's my new story. Me and Heather, we hooked up, and you know, now we're here.
No one's gonna believe that. No one is gonna believe that.
That's why it makes it so much more fun.
Right. But it wasn't even like I was 21. I was a virgin until I was 21. And no one ever believed that. You know way too much about sex. You know way too much about, you know, all of it. And like, well, yeah, because I pay attention to all you horny fuckers around me that are talking about it all the time in great detail. And, you know, you learn some things when you sit back and actually pay attention and listen and, you know, and stuff. But like, I had so many friends who were slut shamed and promiscuous, and one of my friends growing up was like legit boyfriend of the week, and I say that with like boyfriend of the week and not exaggerating sometimes. You know? And I knew that I didn't want that reputation. And even now, like I said earlier, I will talk about things I've done in the past, and I have no issue with that. This show really has opened that up even for me to be more comfortable talking about it than I used to be, because now other people's opinions of me are none of my business, and I don't really give a shit, right? That's one of my favorite sayings is other people's opinions of me are none of my business. So I don't really care what you think about me because you're not living my life. But the other side of that is there's still parts of me that are private that I feel should remain private. There are things that I would like to do. There are kinks that I have that I would like to do that I have not done purely because of finding someone that I trust, that I've been with enough to trust to do those things and open up with.
You know, that's a big problem I have right now. Because like literally my big kinks that I've been, you know, the ones that have been on back border,
right?
I just did. Now I'm like,
now what?
I need new ones, new kinks to play with. Now what? I tried that.
I mean, yeah, there's some things, but then for me again, that's private. Like I don't want to go to a kink. Like I don't want to go to a bondage club. I don't want to be strung up in front of a bunch of people. To me, that's not, you know. That's not my thing. And I've been offered, trust me, I've been offered multiple times to go to clubs, and you could just sit there and look like the goddess that you are. Like you don't even have to do anything. Just sit there, you know. Like, thanks, but I like my kink in private. But I would have the red room. So I would be the one that would be like, that's the door, you know. You don't go in that door. That is the that's our room, you know.
I'm an exhibitionist. If I had a slightly better body, if I had the body I started on this trip with when I first started on the RV, I might do our OnlyFans.
You'll get back there.
I will get back there. And
I mean, I'm pretty confident in who I am. I just, I mean, I've never gotten undressed in front of a man and him say, "Meh, never mind." You know, you're getting a whole lot of women when I take my clothes off.
I have. So gay men are evil.
Getting around that.
Yeah, gay men are evil. I have been, you know, oh, you know what? I'm not feeling it. As a matter of fact, not that long ago. And the funny thing is, he hit me up on one of the apps the other day. I kind of
That's
chuckled.
funny.
I'm like, do you remember who I am?
I had one guy, it was my birthday, and we went to like the shit kicker bar, and this dude, he was flirting with all of it, whatever, and finally at the end of the night he was like, want to hook up or whatever, and I was like, sure, if you want to drive to my house, because that's where I'm headed. And he drove legit, like took his friend across town and then drove all the way back across town. And I rode the shit out of this dude and set him on his way. And was like, thanks, have a good night. Like, I knew I was never going to see this dude again. Like, bye-bye now, So the next day, I legit text him by accident. Like, I didn't even save his number. Like, I had no idea who he was. Like, I completely, and he was like, who is this? And then I was like, sorry, like, wrong person, and he goes, who is this? And I said, this is the chick from Stoney's last night. And he goes, oh, you should have lost my number by now. And I was like, dude, I just told you, like, I'm not interested in talking to you again either,
Right.
And like 3 or 4 months later, he texts me. And I go, who is this? And he goes, remember that guy from Stoney's? He goes, are you busy? And I was like, oh, yeah, see, you thought I was someone else when I text you, but you seem to save my phone number. So, like,
right.
I said, I'm not interested. Thanks, dude. He was a good time. Don't get me wrong. But I was like,
you know what? My thing was with that one, it was a whole moment thing. Like, if it was different energy, different everything, it probably would have been fine.
Yeah.
He had just had a birthday party. Like, he was like, the house was still decorated. Like, literally everyone just left. And I think that if that wasn't happening and he was like, right. Oh yeah, we'll do this right now. And it probably would have been okay. It just wasn't okay.
Right.
And
it was just
like,
a different vibe.
Yeah, we were both not really feeling it, but it was already there, and it was like, okay, all right, no, the vibe check wasn't hidden,
right?
And that's just it.
I've had some awkward encounters as well, that hit the ego for sure, right?
Yeah.
But so, how do you view it differently now that we like? So for me, the more connected I am to myself, the bigger the O. So like, I can even give myself a bigger orgasm, because I'm connected to my energy and what I want and my thoughts and being able to do that. But my idea of sensuality and sexuality is different than it used to be.
Yes.
I don't know that different would be the right term.
I can have a different experience now than I ever did.
Yeah.
I can definitely be, the more connected I am. So when I connect and I open up into that connection, the more body sensation I have. Okay, right. So number one, I have better body sensation if I am connected and centered. So of course it's going to be better.
Yeah.
Like, and someone told me years ago, and I'm talking, I was in my young 20s. Someone says, sex is better if you breathe through your feet.
Okay.
And I've always remembered this. Like, and I'm talking early 20s. I didn't understand any of this. Well, I kind of started to give a clue. I did start learning tantric stuff back then, but like in the way that you learn tantric stuff, like, oh, look at what Sting's doing and 5 tips for, better orgasms and stuff like that. Like,
right.
The surface level, like, really, this is, but now that I understand what that really means and how that really connects and how drawing that energy all the way up and all the way down opens up all that sensation. So, yeah.
Breathe into your feet.
Breathe into your feet.
I never thought about it that way, but yeah, when you can like bring yourself back into I was with a guy once and he told me, you can pant all you want, but I know the difference when you're because I would psych myself out of relaxing enough to actually orgasm, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he'd be like,
Oh, I've
babe,
been
just
there.
relax. And I'm like, I cannot in this moment relax.
I've
He's like, well, I'm not stopping no matter how, you know what I mean? I mean, thankfully. Do not get me wrong, I'm not complaining about that at all, but you know.
I have a lot of times I have troubles orgasming anyways. One of the issues of pleasuring yourself as a guy is that you start losing sensation. So, and I didn't start with great sensation. So, I'm kind of hard to get off, to be honest with you. That's way too much info that I'm realizing. Like, I'm like, I started this conversation. I'm trying to like keep it, and I'm like, I can't. I'm going to say a little bit too much. So I was in an experience, and I was going to try to finish myself off because it just wasn't pushing me over the edge.
Right.
And the guy literally like held down my hands and did another probably 10 minutes before I actually did. And so it was a good 45 minute BJ.
Wow, that's some jaw strength.
Yeah. And I was just like, it was
some work.
And it's not that it wasn't feeling good. It was feeling amazing.
Right.
It just wasn't pushing me over the edge.
Right.
And I'm like, let me help you here, dude. And wouldn't let me.
Well, because I think then it becomes like it's an ego shot if you can't, you know. I would assume. I would assume, you know. Well, because I mean, I've been with men where like we were drinking and you know, and then they couldn't get it up, or you know, and of course they're upset about it, and I'm like, it's all good, dude. Like I wasn't upset. I knew I knew it had nothing to do with me. You know what I mean? Sometimes it has nothing to do with
it rarely does have anything to do with the partner.
No, it doesn't.
And then
I mean,
you know
that is not true. That is not true, because sometimes it does have to do with the other person and what they're doing. But
and it's normally not what they're doing. It's that the hormone isn't there. So
the connection.
We respond to pheromones, and if the heroin
because like, have you ever kissed someone and just not like it was like almost gross?
Yep.
Right, and it's because you chemically don't match. Like you're not, you know, it's not necessarily that they're a bad kisser. It's that you're not compatible with them. That's why kissing is so intimate and important, is because it's literally telling your body whether your chemistry, like your actual body chemistry matches or not, you know? So, and that starts different endorphins and foreplay and having intimacy ahead of time, you know, because intimacy really has nothing to do with the actual physical act. That's not the intimate part of things.
No.
That's the physical part of things. The intimate part of things is the leading up to that, you know, the foreplay.
And the better you can can play with their mind, the better things work.
Yeah, like flirting and going and I dated one guy that my stepmom set us up on a blind date, and we went out and we dated for a couple of months. It wasn't super long. People thought it was a really long time, but it was because we went from like 0 to 100 super fast. But for like the first week and a half, we made out like teenagers every day. Like he worked the night shift, and he would come see me before work, and we would like make out. So there was this build up to, you know, finally it was like really passionate by the time we got there the following week, because every day we had like made out to the point where you would like, you want to be doing the deed. And we go, okay, you got to stop. You got to go to work.
Right.
But, and sometimes intimacy. So we also have to talk about platonic intimacy too, because I don't think that that's talked about enough. And when you become more spiritual, when you connect with yourself, there's so many other moments. You and I have intimate moments all the time of like beautiful intimacy and conversations and things like that, where we just have a connection on a different level. And those intimate moments are just as important in life, so allowing yourself to have intimate moments with other people that are not sexual in any way is a beauty. I think we need to advocate for more of those as well.
Definitely. We do need to be more intimate. We need to. It's funny because we are so much more connected. We have so many more ways to connect. And we have so much disconnection between us. Everything stays surface level. We're sharing memes and reels. And I'm guilty of it too. Don't get me wrong. That's hell. How many reels did you get today?
Right. What happens when I don't talk to Jeff every day for an hour? I get 20 reels.
Because I replaced my Heather time with real time. So, what do you want from me? You're gonna deal with me either way. Which one do you want? Do you want it direct, or do you want to hear it from?
Well, I can't deal with you and my son at the same time, so.
Well, you're right. You can't, because Sushi Boy,
he wins out,
and he wins as he should.
He's
her son,
my favorite son.
Yes, he is your favorite son. Her only son. Just have to throw that in there. It's your only son, so that way.
He always says that to him, like, you're my favorite son. He's like, Mom, I'm your only son.
So,
my favorite.
The funny thing is that for literally the only time I ever heard of him for like the first for 3 months was, oh, me and my son are gonna go get sushi. Oh, me and my son are going to get sushi. So I started calling him Sushi Boy, because literally every time I heard about him, they were going to have sushi.
Yeah, we've been twice in the past week because we tried a new place and it wasn't up to our standards. We're a little bit of we go to Chinatown and get sushi. And it wasn't bad sushi. It just wasn't Chinatown sushi. And
it's kind of like grocery store.
This weekend I was like, I feel like we didn't have sushi last week. And he goes, I was thinking the same thing earlier. He goes, want to go tonight? And so my oldest, we went and picked her up too, and we all went. The three of us went, so that was super fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, sushi's good. My problem is that the last time I went, we've been doing the bowls. Last time I went, the not that it was bad, but it was on its way. Like, you can really taste it was very fishy, and I was like, I had to pick it all out of the bowl, and then I was like,
right. Then you have rice.
Then I have rice and a couple veggies that weren't even like. It wasn't very good, so I've been like avoiding it ever since. I realized I'm like,
you're so but yeah, I think back to the intimacy and spirituality and sensuality. When you start to fully be able to just step into how you truly feel and living, I have plenty of friends who are still really uncomfortable even to talk about sex in any way, shape, or form. Like, to talk about their sex life, anything they've done. Like, we know you're screwing. I'm pretty sure, you know what I mean? Like, we need to be open about it. I was always super open with all of my kids. All my kids still are open with me about their escapades. Sometimes more than I want to hear, but then I'm so thankful that they are comfortable enough to be talking to me about it. that we definitely do not slut shame in our family. Slut shaming is not allowed.
No. Although, did I send you that video? I think I sent you that video where it goes, "You're not allowed to slut shame," but the guy was getting led around. The guy was getting led around in Chipotle or in Jimmy John's. That's what it was. It's really funny. The story was funny.
It was a comedian. He was talking about no slut shaming, and then he said, but then there was this guy on a leash, and
right.
Doesn't he want to be?
Doesn't he want to be shamed? Wouldn't you like be upset if no one said something, right. Or at least give you a sideways look? I mean, come on. I can tell you my slave slave does like that. So
well, I mean, I would I mean, if you're out being led around, someone's going to say something, I'm sure. There's going to be comments made. And I would assume that, that's kind of the point though, right?
Right.
Like
that's part of that kink is that humiliation portion of that.
And I have to say, like, I really am one of those people because I am a little bit of a control freak. I know, big surprise, everyone. I know. It's a shock. I know. Take a moment. That in the bedroom, I do not want to be. I don't want to be. And I know the sub is really in charge. I get it. Like, we're the ones that cause the shots and all those things. But I want to be called a fucking slut, dirty whore in bed. I want to be spanked and all the things.
Yeah,
I just want it done in private. And do not get me wrong, a little dirty out in public, but I'm not going to sit on your lap in public and make out at the bar or things like I'm not like that. I'm one of those walk up behind me and grab a handful of ass and whisper some dirty shit in my ear about what you want to do later. And I will do the same, but only after I'm comfortable with you, because I am super awkward when I try to flirt. I cannot flirt. People think I'm flirting all the time when I'm just being nice. If I really like you and I try to flirt, I am awkward as fuck. I do not know how to flirt. I'm super awkward. I'm like, I can't do it.
This is why I do better online. I don't do as well in the bars. I don't do because I have that. There's this level of resistance, like that's not there. Like I can say things, and there's a directness. Online is not implied in a bar, and it's also a reason I have problems with. So it's one of the reasons why I have problems with getting clients. It's one of the reasons I have problems like having lasting relationships, because I was never good at flirting. I was never good at that little thing, that stuff. You know what I mean?
I do. Part of it is because I'm so freaking blunt and honest that like, I just like.
I either overshare.
Yes, right. Either I'm not saying anything at all, or I have verbal diarrhea, and then they're like, "Oh," but they also think that I'm not real. So like, I really am that blunt all the time. I want to talk about things in relationships before they become an issue. So if something comes up for me, I just want to talk about it really quick. People think that, and then guys think, "Oh, well, like I'm trying to pick a fight, or I'm." Like, no, I want to talk about it before it gets to that point. Because if I'm thinking about it, then maybe, like, let's just talk about it and be done with it. And then they think, you can't be this blunt all the time. But really, I am that blunt all the time. And that gets me in trouble.
Yeah. I mean, or I don't want to talk to you. Or I don't talk to you. One or the other.
Yeah.
Or right. And if I can't be... My niece actually earlier today came out and she was talking to me, and we were talking about some things that were a little more intimate, and it was shocking I'm the uncle that they talk to about things like that.
Yeah.
And so I was talking about it, and I said something. She goes, "Oh my God, I can't believe you said that." But I'm like, don't ask the question if you don't want to answer. I'll give you the answer, and I'm going to give it to you respectfully and not in an age appropriate and in a person appropriate,
a
relationship appropriate way, you know. But yeah, I'm going to answer that question, you know. And it was like, you know, we were talking about the difference between a 17-year-old in virility and a 46-year-old in virility. There's a difference.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think that's why my kids, I am the one that they talk to, because I'm going to give you the answer, like whether you like it or not. I mean, even my one messaged me about her friend the other day, and I just was like, well, if she would stop doing this would it would fix itself. You know what I mean? And she goes, well, she's not going to do that. And I'm like, well, I don't know what to tell you. You know, even as an instructor, I was like that. So like when it came to reproductive and all the, when we got to that point, I'm like, okay, let's close the door. What questions do you have now so that we can get through this lesson? I will answer all the questions you want to ask. So whatever it is, let's have the discussion about it. And then we will get down to the anatomy part of it. But like, okay, ask all the dirty questions you want. Let's get it all out. Because even as adults, I taught adults. And I was teaching them anatomy and physiology. So like, that's what we were talking about. And I would just say, okay, let's get it all out now and get all of the jokes and all of the everything and all the questions that you want to ask. And let's talk about all of it. And I'm going to give you an honest answer about it,
Yeah. Exactly.
And I do that for my clients and my friends. And, if you want to hear the truth, I definitely am the one to, yeah. Which is why him and I fight all the time, like an old married couple, because we both say the shit to each other that no one else will say. And like, damn, ouch.
And half the time I don't even mean it that way. Then I had to realize that's low blood. Let me rephrase that a little bit. But I've been laughing. I've been seeing a couple of videos lately that makes me think that I might want to get tested to be on the spectrum. Because I think more and more, I think that I may be some high functioning somewhere.
Oh, I know I am.
Yeah, we know.
Right? Yeah, it's funny because some people would go that I know would go absolutely not. But I can mask really, really well. Over the past couple of years, I've really let a lot of that go to the wayside. But we were a generation where we were taught to mask because all emotions over everything.
Right. It doesn't matter if you're neurotypical. You were still told to mask. You didn't have. You weren't allowed to mask.
Yeah. So and thinking back and stuff, and I would never go get tested because really it just helps me to hack my own life and make adjustments for myself. And really it was a clarity for me of like, oh, that makes so much sense. Even with my biological daughter, things that she did. And then like now that I can remember, because through my healing, I remember more about growing up, and because I blocked so much stuff out. When you have a lot of stuff going on as a kid, you block big sections out. And as you heal and you let go of that, though, the negative parts, the good parts start to open up a little more, and you get to remember, some of the things. And I remember like I would sit around with my parents and their friends while they played cards and all the things, and like to learn how to respond to each other, because like I didn't have any concept of that. And when I went, and I actually was doing research for my daughter and like and stuff, and then I was like, is that how, and then I told my sister, and she goes, who's neurotypical? My sister is like very neurotypical, and she goes, oh, that makes so much sense.
Right. The funny thing is that I'm a double Virgo, and I have a lot of those traits. Like I'm very analytical. I'm very blunt. I'm very cut and dry. I live a life in black and white in a lot of ways. There isn't a gray. Now, life is many different colors. It does.
Right.
But at the end of the day, if you're wanting something, it's black or white. Did you do the stuff that it's going to take to get there, or did you not?
Right. Yeah.
Yes or and no wrong, no right, no any of it. Just what is it?
Either you did or you didn't. Right.
Right. Or you didn't. It's not, I'm not trying to beat you up about it.
Right.
But what got in the way? Then you can start looking at what got in the way. Okay,
Yeah.
what got in the way? Okay, what got in the way was I was totally exhausted on Saturday after my event, and then Sunday I didn't want to do a darn thing, and Sunday night somebody messaged me, and I decided that was something I wanted to do, and
but then we also have to have self-care in there, as entrepreneurs, there's a line of energy. I've had to stop talking to I don't talk to you as often, and really it's because I was giving out a bunch of energy and it wasn't in the forms, it wasn't going where it needed to go. My energy wasn't going where I personally need it to go, and so then I have to set limits, which is hard because I want to help everyone, but my roommate says all the time, even your friends should have to pay to talk to you because it's not a normal conversation. You are always helping and and having in-depth spiritual conversations with people and guiding and stuff. And so she always says all of us, we should just have to, no one should be able to talk to you without paying you. And I go, well, I wish it worked that way. One day. No, I'm just kidding.
One day you won't you'll have a pay link. Here you go.
Yeah.
Until I get it. So one of the last question you have up here is, can you share some tips for using spiritual practices to cultivate a more fulfilling solo sexual experience? So yes, I can actually. I can give you 3.
Do it.
1, breathe through your feet when you're really actually being there. Start your sexual experience by noticing what your body feels. Really get into your body and feel, all right, right now my ass is kind of feeling a little plastered into the seat. I feel really, really like I've been pushing back on the thing. I don't know why. So what does it feel like? What does it feel like in your body? So first, breathe into your feet, then notice what's going on in your body, and then notice her breathing.
Ooh. Yeah, okay. But this is solo.
Oh, so solo, notice your breathing. And touch yourself in other places. Be
intimate with yourself. Yeah.
Right.
I was going to say the biggest thing is, be intimate with yourself. Get to know yourself and what you like from yourself.
Right. I'm a guy. I don't do body lotion often. Right. And I noticed that I noticed one not too long ago, I don't touch myself. I don't touch me anywhere other than my junk. Right.
Hi, beautiful.
Hello.
The bestie is here.
Oh, she finally shows up.
Right.
Kidding. I'm just kidding. So yeah, just really feel yourself. Touch every so often, just go and touch your skin, touch your knees, touch behind your knees, all those places that
those there's light, lovely, little sensual spots that
notice how you feel. That's how you feel.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I think just really getting to know yourself and having intimate moments with yourself that sometimes don't even lead to orgasms, but the more you orgasm, the more you will want to orgasm. If you are not little sex tip, if you are not feeling it, right, and I'm not in the mood, or I haven't really been in the mood, start masturbating. Get a toy if you're a woman, get a toy if you're a man, right?
I never bought myself as a stripper.
Yeah, and because you need the hormones. You need the hormones. And use water-based lube.
Always.
That's my tip. Use water-based lube. Trust me, when you start getting the juices flowing, the juices will flow, ladies. I know men, if you don't have a desire, same difference though, because you do go through those waves of lulls. And so when you are not sexually active, your hormone, you won't get you won't even have the urge. You won't get horny because your body's like, oh, we don't need that. And that's something like I experienced because I haven't been with anyone in a long time, that I like sometimes I have to remind myself, like, girl, go get off.
Yeah.
You need to get off. You're a little cranky.
You're a little cranky. You're a little cranky.
So I, as we were sitting here, the throat chakra came up, of course, because we were literally talking about, right, the communication, but communicating with yourself as well, right? And communication is also a vibe. So when we talk about, communication, this is not just the expression, like a vocal expression, but it is a vibration that you put out and your vibe. And so make sure that you are communicating with your partner about what you want and what you don't want. And of course, men, can I just say, do not get with, and ladies too, but I hear this from my male friends all the time. Well, she's not a freak enough. Well, if she wasn't a freak when you met, she's not going to magically become a freak. It's not going to happen. So make sure that you're communicating with your partner what you like, what you don't like, what is going to turn you on. Because if you don't communicate, you're not going to get what you want. And be open about it up front. Like, when you start to date someone, like, be open about what you want. What are you expecting from, the experience?
Huge. Yeah, what are your kinks? Where are your boundaries? What do you not like? Really, what turns you off? Yes, we all know that. We definitely know.
She is. She's my bestie.
Exactly. She fits right in. Of course, I think throat chakra, and I want to get all like nasty, and like you could stimulate that from the inside too.
Yes, you can. So, you can open that up from the inside as well.
Open up from the inside. I did a 10 of cups. That's what I pulled. So, lasting celebrations, lasting orgasms, lasting celebrations. How can you set yourself up sexually, like to be more satisfied?
Yeah.
It does come down to communicating. Like, what does turn you on? What does, what turns you on? What do you want to try? What can you try today that might set you up to be more satisfied tomorrow?
Yeah. Ooh, I love it.
Yeah. It's also a marriage card. So,
Oh, God.
Let's not have a conversation.
That's a whole different conversation. That card has relationships has come up a lot for me lately, which that's a whole interesting thing for me. Because, for a long time, I was just like, I'm just going to be single forever. And then I got to the point where I'm like, I'm just going to fuck my way across the United States, which that might still happen. You never know. Until I find someone that I want to have him be the main one. I don't know.
It's my plan. Actually, I spent a while, we were talking about the ups and downs and the lulls and everything. I spent a while that I just want to. And then a little more recently, I've been a little bit more like, oh no, I think I do. I want to play more.
I want someone to like be consistent. Like, I know. No, I haven't had that. So like,
right.
I'd really like to, have someone who is sexually compatible with me, that we can fuck our way across. There we go. All the national parks, all the places. Taking applications.
I'm
just throwing it out there.
I am taking applications for a handy gay.
There you go.
So while we're putting out applications, I am looking for a handy gay that has like some kink going on too. Trust me,
Right.
I will hit every marker that you need me to hit.
All the freak flagging.
All the freak flags, I can hit them all one way or another.
I
So
love it.
yeah, you gotta play with
Where
it.
can we find you? Where can the people find you if they want to?
You know what's weird? I don't have
with you?
anything. I don't have anything major going on. I'm going to be offering. I haven't set this up yet, but if you message me, well, just tell me that you heard it here, and I'll take care of it. I'm going to be offering my time management deep dives again.
Ooh,
So
that's a good
yeah,
one.
the time management deep dives, because
Maybe I need to retake that.
Oh, I'm sorry, I said that out loud. I meant, but we're gonna do a one-on-one. We're gonna do one-on-ones, and really sit down with you to find out what it is that you want from your time.
Yeah.
You know, we have more fun. It's summertime. Let's go have fun, and a lot of people can't fit fun into their schedule, so let's go fit that in.
I love it. I love it.
So, how about you? Where are we finding you these days?
Oh, you can find me on the old Clock app. Tonight, Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesdays are create and chat. We hang out and talk about all kinds of different stuff. And I am doing I have one-on-one readings available. I have soul sessions available. If you need a safe space to come and unpack some stuff and let go of some things energetically. And I'm revamping my 9-week program. So I do have a one-on-one 9-week chakra program where we go through each chakra and really, really unpack. And you meet with me once a week. You get to see my beautiful face. And we do a bunch of energy work and get you back in alignment and guide you through that healing process.
I love it. And guys, there's no one out there that's better than Heather. Honestly. She really is amazing, and I wouldn't know what to do going through what I went through this last few months if she wasn't there to talk to and say I'm not crazy. Or that I was crazy. Either way.
I mean, I think we're all a little mad around here, so there's that part. But we take that into consideration. And then, and my bestie Tina is taking applications for a man that is willing to take care of her instead of her have to take care of them.
There you go. Can I get that too?
I'm all for it. I have a whole list. My friends think I'm picky, but I'm like, oh no, I want him to take care of me. I want to be spoiled. Because I will do all those things back. But but you have to give up the goods too. All right, you guys, thanks for coming and hanging out with us today. And next week, we're going to talk about energy, and we're going to really get deep into energy, our personal energy, how it works, what we do with it, how it affects us.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
I'm sure you are. And I'm really excited about that. For the first time ever, I'm going to be really excited about talking about the energy conversation.
Yeah, from Kundalini to Crown.
Yeah. Ooh. Is that what we're calling it?
Yes. From Kundalini to Crown.
It'll be fun. We're going to have a great time, guys. You don't want to miss it.
See us. I love you guys. Have a great day.
Love. Bye.
Go buy merch. SpiritualSexandCandy.com.
Everyone here at the True Awesome Network asks you to please subscribe, like, comment, and spread awesome.